There are people living in Pennsylvania right now, no solar panels, no backup generators, no subscription to anything, who haven't worried about a power outage in their entire lives. Most people think the Amish are just avoiding technology out of religious stubbornness. That's not what's happening. What they actually built is something far more interesting, a complete system. Every single piece of that system used to be common knowledge in America until about 50 years ago when we traded it all away. Today I'm walking you through 10 of those habits, not as a history lesson, as a blueprint. If you want to go deeper on any of these, everything I recommend is linked at ancestralbeauty.shop. Let's start with something that almost nobody talks about when they talk about the Amish. When a barn burns down in an Amish community, the farmer doesn't call an insurance company or fill out a form. What happens instead is this. Before sunrise the next morning, hundreds of people are already on his land, men with tools, women with food, children learning by watching. By sunset, a new barn is standing, a complete barn. One day, no contractor, no permit office, no invoice. The Amish call this Gemeinschaft, community as a way of being, not just a social nicety. Your neighbor's crisis is your crisis, and your labor is your neighbor's insurance policy. They formalize this so completely that they don't participate in commercial insurance at all. The community is the insurance. Most of us have neighbors we've never spoken to instead. We have a policy number and a 1-800 number. We have a system that works fine, right up until it doesn't. The Amish didn't forget to modernize. They looked at what modernization was offering and decided the trade wasn't worth it. The habit of showing up for people before they have to ask is a survival skill. It's the one that's hardest to rebuild once a community has lost it. The Amish go to bed when the sun goes down and get up before it rises. In summer, that means 4:30, maybe 5 in the morning. In winter, it shifts later. Their schedule doesn't come from an alarm clock. It comes from the light. They're not doing this because of some rule about discipline or virtue. They're doing it because they never built their homes around electric light. After dark, they use kerosene lanterns, old-style flame light. Kerosene lanterns emit a warm, amber range wavelength that doesn't suppress melatonin production. LED lights in your bedroom, your phone, your kitchen emit blue spectrum light the brain reads as still noon. Your melatonin gets suppressed, your cortisol rhythms shift, your body loses track of time. The Amish have been protecting their circadian rhythm for 300 years without knowing the word. You don't have to give up electricity to get some of this back. Scrolling your phone in bed isn't just a time waster. It confuses your nervous system about what time it is. The Amish solved this problem by accident. We have to solve it on purpose. Most people imagine one big kitchen when they picture an Amish farmhouse. What they're missing is the structure about 20 feet behind the main house, the summer kitchen. A wood-burning stove generates enormous heat. In winter, that's a feature. In July, it turns your home into an oven. Cooking and canning and smoking at scale produces steam, smoke, and fire risk. So they built a separate structure where the heavy work happened. Pressure canning hundreds of jars, rendering lard, baking in batches, processing a full animal harvest. The main house stayed cool. The fire risk stayed outside. The canning steam didn't peel the wallpaper. A production kitchen and a living kitchen are two different tools for two different jobs. One of the most common things I hear from women getting serious about food preservation is feeling overwhelmed by scale. The summer kitchen is the answer that was right there the whole time. Every spring, seed companies sell millions of packets of hybrid vegetables. When you try to save seeds from those plants and grow them again next year, you get something different or nothing at all. Hybrid seeds are designed to not reliably reproduce. You come back to the store next year by design. The Amish never accepted this arrangement. For generations, Amish families have saved seeds from their strongest, most productive plants. They dry them, label them, store them in paper envelopes in cool, dry spaces. These are heirloom varieties, some traced back to seeds that came over from Germany and Switzerland in the 1700s, tomatoes, beans, squash, corn, each variety adapted to the specific soil and climate of their farm. An Amish family's garden is not just a food source, it's a living library that gets more resilient yearly. They never handed over control of their food supply to a corporation. The seed is the beginning of everything. If you own your seed, you own your harvest. If you have to buy your seed, you're one supply chain disruption away from an empty garden. You can start this today with any heirloom tomato or open pollinated pepper. Save the seed, dry it completely, store it cool and dark, plant it next spring. Do that for 5 years and you'll have something genuinely yours. The Amish have been eating fermented food every single day for centuries, not as a trend, not as a supplement, as food. Sauerkraut was in every Amish pantry. Most Amish communities trace back to German-speaking Switzerland and Alsace. The sauerkraut you buy in a can at the grocery store has been pasteurized. That process kills the bacteria. The living cultures that make fermentation valuable are gone. The Amish make raw, live culture fermented cabbage. Salt pulls water out, naturally occurring lactobacillus bacteria do the rest. What you end up with is a food that actively supports your gut microbiome. We've spent billions on probiotic supplements in capsule form. The Amish have been eating the real version, made for a few cents per pound. Traditional Amish communities have historically lower rates of certain digestive disorders. Researchers point to diet, physical activity, lower stress. The daily fermented food habit is almost certainly part. Fermentation is also preservation. A properly made jar of sauerkraut can last a year without refrigeration. It is literally alive and self-preserving at the same time. You cannot talk about Amish off-grid life without talking about the root cellar. The earth, a few feet underground, maintains a remarkably stable temperature year-round. In most of the continental United States, that range is between 35 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. No compressor, no electricity, no monthly bill, just physics. The thermal mass of the earth absorbs heat in summer and releases it in winter. Amish families use this to store root vegetables, apples, canned goods, hard cheeses, cured meats through winter. A well-built root cellar is humidity controlled by the earth itself. You do not need a farmstead to have a root cellar. A metal trash can or large barrel buried in a slope works just as well. Line it with straw for insulation, put a ventilated lid on it. You have a functional cool storage unit that keeps root vegetables through a hard winter. It's not beautiful. It doesn't require a permit. It works exactly the same way. The principle is the same. Cold, dark, stable, slightly humid. That's all you need. Modern water delivery to your home depends on electric pumps at multiple points. When the power goes out for more than a few hours, water pressure drops. When it goes out for days, taps run dry. The Amish never built that vulnerability in. Traditional Amish farms use gravity-fed water distribution. A cistern, a large holding tank, is positioned at the highest point of the property. Water flows into it from a well or rainwater collection. Gravity pulls it down through pipes. No pump required. no electricity required. The whole system runs on a force that has never failed. Hand-pumped wells are the backup to the backup. Many Amish farms maintain a hand pump as a matter of principle. It's not nostalgia, it's redundancy. Any single point of dependency is a single point of failure. Rainwater collection into cisterns and barrels is the first step anyone can take. It doesn't require land or infrastructure. It requires a barrel, a downspout, and the decision to start. The Amish wood stove is not what most people picture. Yes, it heats the home. Yes, it cooks the food, but it does something else. The cast iron wood stove heats water that runs through pipes beneath the floors. Radiant floor heating, powered by a single fire. One stove manages 4 functions simultaneously: heat, cooking, water heating, and floor warming, without a single kilowatt of electricity. Modern radiant floor heating requires boilers, pumps, thermostats, electricity, professional installation costing tens of thousands. The Amish version requires a cast iron stove, basic plumbing, understanding of how heat moves. The design philosophy was never, how do we do 4 things with 4 systems? The goal was always, how do we do 4 things with 1? That instinct toward elegant simplicity produces systems that don't have 4 failure points. They have 1. And that one is a fire, which humans have known how to make for a very long time. Every serious Amish farm had a smokehouse, a dedicated structure where meat could be cured and smoked. The process involves 2 stages that most people collapse into one: curing and smoking. Salt draws moisture out of meat and creates an environment where harmful bacteria can't thrive. Smoking adds a second layer of preservation through antimicrobial compounds in wood smoke. The critical detail is cold smoking versus hot smoking. Hot smoking cooks the meat. It's delicious, but it doesn't extend shelf life significantly. Cold smoking, done below 100 degrees Fahrenheit over many hours, penetrates the meat without cooking. Combined with salt cure, this produces something that can hang in a cool, dry space for months. The Amish didn't invent this. Every culture that lived through winters without refrigeration figured out some version. What the Amish did was keep it alive when the rest of America decided the freezer was good enough. It's a skill. Like all skills, it doesn't disappear. It just waits for you to pick it back up. The Amish dry food in the sun, sliced apples spread on wooden frames with mesh, herbs tied in bundles and hung in warm, dry air, tomato halves laid out where the afternoon light hits longest. This is how food was preserved before anyone invented a machine to do it. Drying removes the moisture that allows bacteria and mold to grow. A properly dried apple lasts a year in a sealed container. Dried herbs hold their medicinal and culinary potency for months. Dried tomatoes concentrate flavor to an intensity that fresh tomatoes can never reach. The sun is free. A wooden frame with screen costs almost nothing to build. You can dry food on a clean sheet spread in your backyard. You can hang herbs from the ceiling of your kitchen. The Amish have never made "I don't have the right equipment" an acceptable reason. Resourcefulness is a habit. Like all habits, it starts with the decision that it matters. 10 habits, not 10 antiques, a community that functions as living insurance, a relationship with light and sleep that modern science is only now proving correct, a summer kitchen that separates production from living, seeds that belong to the family, fermentation that heals while it preserves, a root cellar that uses the physics of the earth, water systems that flow without electricity, a single stove that does the work of 4, a smokehouse that extends a harvest through a winter, the sun doing what it always has for free. These weren't lost because they stopped working. They were set aside because convenience felt like progress. You don't have to do all 10. You don't have to do any of them perfectly. If you start just one, you're doing something the Amish have always understood. The skills you hold in your own hands can never be taken from you. That's worth something. That's worth a lot. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who would appreciate it. If you want to keep going deeper into this way of living, you know where to find me.